Welcome back, everybody, to College COD as we're getting ready for our second match in week number 2, day number 1. My name is Seymour, jumping in alongside Zep for the matchup. Zep, what a crazy way to kick things off to start off the day back in match number 1. How was that?
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal to watch. I mean, Akron Zips versus the Fanshawe Fuel. I mean, for those of you who may have missed it, it was a whirlwind of a series. The Zips being so close yet so far, many areas I think have many things they need to go back to the drawing board on in terms of how they play in general, especially on that search and destroy. But on the overall, they gave the Fanshawe Fuels a really tough time of it. I think the Zips will be a side that I think certain teams will play in future and perhaps underestimate their ability, but you can't take it away from Fanshawe. They played a fantastic game, deservedly taking the win, and will be happy with their performance tonight. But moving on to this next series, if it's anything like the first series, then we're in for a hell of an evening.
Let's kind of take a dive into what to expect here between the Wichita State Shockers and the Northwestern Oklahoma State University Rangers, as both teams in week number 1 coming out with a 2-0 record. And it's been flawless just across the board in terms of everything else. Nobody's dropped a hard point, nobody's dropped a search, and nobody's dropped an overload, Zap. So you're coming into a pretty important one in terms of the top 25 standings, as you know, you're looking at two teams who are inside of the top 25 in the 2026 season. This is very important in terms of what we're going to be looking at for that top 25 list going into next week, week 3.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been perfection for both of these sides, one of which will falter this evening, and that's what's going to make this map pool incredibly interesting. Getting into it, we'll get to see sort of, what these sides are feeling confident on. But of course, all the picks, they'll have been made with confidence in their ability to be able to push on through. So I'll be very interested to see who kind of drops that first map and who we see falter, right? Because both of these sides recognizing that they have a challenge ahead of them, and it's simply about how they rise to the challenge. And as we take a look at the maps here, again, we're seeing like Series 1, a very varied map pool, 5 different maps in this.
Scar, Colossus, Den, Blackheart, Raid. I love a series that has all 5 maps different, Zeb. It's definitely something to kind of look forward to for Wichita State. I mean, to start things off with the hard points, you get rid of the exposure hard point. Rangers get rid of that Den hard point. It leaves us with Scar to kick things off in map number 1, Blackheart for map number 4. Is going to be there for a little bit more of a mixy time if we do go deeper into this series. But I mean, we saw Scar Hardpoint to open up in our last matchup between Fanshawe and Akron. It's just a classic map that I think everybody is looking forward to whenever you're kicking off a best of 5.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Scar Hardpoint, it's sort of, it feels like a cornerstone of Black Ops 7 already. And, as you pointed out, you love having 5 different maps in a series pool. I absolutely do as well. I hate, the worst thing look, I love my job as a caster. I do it forever if I could. But, the thing that keeps you up at night is knowing that you're loading up to whether it's like a triple Scar or a triple exposure, whatever it may be. We love to see a bit of variety to shake things up throughout the map, because it also, or through the series, should I say, because, it also means as players as well, you have to show your versatility throughout a series, right? You can't simply rely on one map. You can't play in the knowledge that if we get to set 2, 3, and 4, we're fine because we know how good we are at a Den, at a Scar. You got to show that across the board that you are complete players, and with those variety of modes as well throughout. Again, it all just plays into the fact that you got to play complete Call of Duty.
Yeah, look, as much as I like Den, as much as I like Scar, having triple Den, triple Scar in a series, it kind of gets a little bit boring to see. I'm excited, hopefully, if the reevaluation of what that map pool is looked at in the future, with maps just continuing to be added to Black Ops 7 this season. I think that's the one thing, Zep, that with Black Ops 7 has been great, is that we are not short for content, and there's always new things being added. I mean, even too, you look at with the new season of Season 1 Reloaded, the addition of Sake as a map, that looks like such a great one that I'm hoping gets looked at in terms of the competitive pool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a variety of maps added that have been interesting, on top of having, interesting maps added at the beginning of this COD. Again, with the greatest respect to Black Ops 6, there were certainly question marks that people had over the map pool in general, how they factored into competitive play. But I've often found myself, playing a couple of games of pubs when we get into that new season and seeing the new maps come through. I'm looking around and I'm saying, yeah, I'd be very interested to see how this one plays competitively. It seems like a lot more thought and care has gone into these ones to make them the best competitive experience possible. And I think the big question that'll be on everyone's minds as we progress through towards Major 2 is, you know, what are the maps that they start looking at to rotate out? Are they going to add more to the map pool? I doubt it. It's surely going to stay as a 5. So, you know, what are we potentially going to see on the chopping board? Loads of questions there that could be asked, but hopefully going to be getting into Scar Hardpoint very, very shortly.
Seems like the lobby just broke, so we're going to get these players hosted back up and ready to go as soon as they are ready and available. But apologies for the wait. We're trying to get into the Scar Hardpoint as quick as could be. But no, you're right. I think that there's a lot to look forward to in terms of the map pool. Really good that we are getting a series in this best of 5 with 5 different maps to kind of look forward to for both of these two teams that are sitting in the top 25 so far in week 2. It's good to see that their map pool ranges away from just the same scars or dens that we've seen from other teams. Exposure coming up a lot as well. It's great to have that variety in terms of a team, or in, I'd say that your team roster this early on in College COD, because we've seen in the past too that it's a talking point where people get a little bit comfortable with playing what they're good at. But for teams who are looking to break into the top 10 of CCL, having some extra firepower between, you know, what you can play and what you feel comfortable playing, it's really makes a difference in a league like this.
Oh, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and I think it's the one thing, you know, that's the selling point of Call of Duty in general as an esport, right? It's not a case of where it's the one game for 10, 15, 20 years, with the greatest respect to all those other games out there. The key selling point of Call of Duty is that year on year we get a different game. We have that variety throughout the series, whether we're going to be in World War II or the far future, obviously dealing with the core Call of Duty components, but having different maps and different mechanics built around that is what keeps it interesting. It keeps it fresh. So having a variety of titles in a variety of different areas with a variety of maps, I think is the sweet spot of what makes Call of Duty esports great. And, you know, as you said about players having kind of maps and modes sort of in the back pocket of as to what they are good at, right? I think it's super important for, you know, COD esports in general. If the more maps and modes there are, the more you have one where you have a team that might be on the back foot who's for some reason found something that works in a certain map mode combination, and they're able to rely on it to pull it out of the bag in a series, instead of a rinse and repeat of, you know, maps where, like, again, you always have staple maps. We just talked about Scar Hardpoint being a staple map, right? But what I think we've had in a few titles previous is that you have the staple map being so above the rest of the maps, again with the, you know, not trying to dog on them too much, that you, as we say, you get triple scars, triple whatever. You would just have triples all the time, and you don't want to see that. As you said, you want to see the variety.
I'm trying to think. I mean, first to go, in my opinion, would probably be a Colossus hardpoint or a, you know, Blackheart hardpoint in terms of shaking up that mode. You know, you kind of look a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to take a look at search and destroy maps. I'd leave Raid in there for sure. Maybe you want to scratch out a couple of those triples, like you said. And you know, you look at games like Call of Duty Mobile, where in the, you know, competitive setting, every single game mode has a different map. It's no like repeat maps that you can have. So might be something to look at to tackle those repeat maps from game mode to game mode in the future. But we got our Scar Hardpoint. We got our teams ready to go. The Shockers on the left side, and yes, you were right. Unlike last week when we had a little bit of an imposter in the namesake, it is John Exotic returning back to the CCL under the Wichita State banner to play up against the Rangers on the right side of Biggie Cheese, Nate, Agro, and Encina.
I can't wait to get this one underway, as so far the Shockers up to a perfect start here in this P1, cleaning up house. Not a second on the board for the Rangers as they look to push through to 2 to change that. Finally getting through for a little bit of time, but for how long will it be? As you're going to have Deucer get through to pick up 1 and clean off that scrap time. The Shockers so far have complete mid-map control and are set up for P2. It's been a slow start for the Rangers.
It has been slow, but not for nothing. You do flip those spawns. You're going to look to play for Hotel, see if you can get this rotation over towards New going. However, as soon as you take those battles, there's a couple of players in the power spots. Kaiser, second one lines up. Wichita already here for New. You hop into the time, and you are dominating the map so far.
Yeah, this has been utter perfection to begin with. They are keeping the Rangers pushed back. They are trying to maneuver up top, just get a little bit more control so they can collapse in on the point, but it's just not happening for them. Exotic being able to pick up a 2, and ultimately Shockers already having that difference maker of a player who can just pick up those extra 1s or 2s to clear off a push. As so far the Rangers are getting nowhere near, even when they get 1 or 2, it is always answered back. This is clean and clinical. Encina finally taking off Exotic from that power position to get a little bit of scrap time, but now you see the Shockers make it what looks to be like a clean rotation over towards P3.
It's not really a big surprise when you do expect the fighter power that Wichita State's going to bring into a game like Black Ops 7. I mean, this is the number 9 in Shockers playing against the number 13 of the Rangers. Last year in the playoffs, it was Wichita State going as far as top 16 in the CCL playoffs for 2025. Rangers did make it deep into the run, but they bowed out in top 24. So still a little bit further that Wichita State found themselves in comparison, and it's kind of what we're getting in the reflection of this scoreline earlier for the Scar. Now you go over towards P3. Wichita State managing an early break with 30 seconds left. They're fighting for the plane side.
The Shockers once again still look to be on fine form. Rangers hoping to bank a little bit on those P4 spawns, and now we get to see more of the breaking power from the Shockers as they try to push on through. With Exotic, the AR in hand, is going to pick up another 12 and 4 to begin with, nearly getting the job done with the pistol, but Nade is there to deal. And the Shockers just again on the overall seem to have so much more map control. I'm looking at aggro on those spawns in behind, potentially going to be able to pinch the pushers here onto P4. It works to perfection, and Rangers should have a clean initial hold on this P4. How will the Shockers break?
Big question. The Shockers, they've done it again and again across P1, P2, and P3. So you think that this is where the Rangers want to put their foot down and stop this momentum that Wichita State continue to garner. So far, so good. 3 spree between Encina and Aggro. Biggie Cheese trying to lock down that time on the inside, but Deucer finds his way around, and Wichita, they do end up breaking through into the back spawns, already getting a little bit mixy, so the chase is going to be through, but you have no idea where these players are, just trying to stay alive in the back line for your teammates to get here in time. And Cena slides out, stays alive in the back spawns, keeps the team in the hill. Not a bad moment for NWOSU.
Yeah, that was absolutely pivotal by Encina to stay alive. It's allowed them to continue to put the pressure on the point, garner the majority of the time. Encina now on the 5 spree as well, and this series now less than a 20-point difference here, when initially Shockers looked to be more than comfortable with their lead. But now Shockers are going to have a clean setup themselves over towards P5, and we have to see the breaking power of Rangers, which hasn't been as strong to begin with here. If you think about that P2, they didn't exactly make any real time from that. Can they make a change up here? If they look to have gotten through top, gotten a 3 down, and this has been a nigh on perfect rotation.
A night and day from the way that we started this game for the Rangers. Now chance to potentially flip the lead. The Shocker is trying to break in through the back. 2 players looking to make a play for the spawns. Biggie Cheese staying alive. Nade might be able to clean him up, but just staying alive is going to force Wichita State to pivot back, see if they can break to the front line, and they just haven't been able to get any kills. Kaiser gets 1, but Peach quickly drops in the front line. One more chance here for Kaiser. He gets in, double kill. Exotic behind him gets a 3rd one and still won't break those spawns right away. Or it looks like it actually does, but you hold on to the lead just minimally.
Holding on to the lead here, 10 up. But for how long? Rangers are just continuing to make that lead shorter and shorter. Now just 10 in it once again, as the Shockers are trying to get their way rotated onto the point, so to collapse onto this P1-2 either side here to get control of mid as they look to pick apart the Rangers. A little bit of back and forth here. Eventually the Shockers will clear out. They can get in the time. Nate picking up 1 but taking out his teammate in the process. And so far the Shockers look a bit more set up as well to get moved on towards P2, but in saying that, Nate getting positioned over towards that P2 side as well.
And Nate's been good, 17 and 15. Picking up the slaying a little bit for the Rangers. You can look at a couple others that, if they start to get moving in this map of 1, real potential here for NWOSU to pull themselves a comeback. Obviously, the first couple of hills back in the first rotation didn't go your way. It was P1, P2, where Wichita State found so much success. You see Peach off this P1 has got themselves a Hellstorm, so a map like Scar, that's going to come in handy.
Wichita look to be in control, although the Rangers, they've caused a little bit of an issue, but let's see how the Shockers are dealing with that as we go to a quick listen in.
this blue guy's spawning us.
Oh, blue dead, blue dead, blue dead.
I'm on the street.
Yeah.
I'm going top.
Just top painting.
I'm holding top. He's nading it. Ah, bro, I got
Naded
naded.
it.
Let's go on lit. Center.
Time 1 shot.
Top blue dead.
Nice.
I reload. I got time.
Nice.
You will box. No one.
Nice, dude. Good shot.
Aggro first.
I go
Top,
top, I
top,
go
top,
top, dead.
I'm going your mid.
Stay time, they see that. Need to
One more
start.
top.
Yeah. I'm staying down. He hop down.
Got you.
Nate's there too.
Yeah, Nate's there. I'm on it. I can't shot you.
I'm wrapping depot right now.
You're good. I'm staying live. I'm staying live.
I'll show that to you. Top green,
I'm not seeing
Yeah, he
anything.
was top.
One's already cut right now.
I don't see shit playing. One could be close.
He's 18.
I'm mapping back blue.
Aggro's
I'm mapping back blue.
Yo, Aggro's front.
Yeah,
They're
they're
top.
I'm streaking. I'm streaking.
Yeah, that's fine,
I spawned
What's
with
close
you.
P1? What's close P1? What's close P1?
Put in center.
One was close P1 on me. P1. Shit on Nate.
One's making.
No, I'm just playing. I'm being super annoying blue. I'm being super
freaking
fucking
out.
annoying blue.
Yeah, just freak. Just be annoying, dude. They're spawn on you still, really. You have to click
Yeah,
green
one's on me.
side.
Top blue.
For sure.
You top green.
Alright, on time. Yo, back blue on you.
He jumped out.
Yeah. I'm leaving him.
Still top blue on you.
I'm leaving him.
I have time.
I'm gonna shoot you on time.
He's back boat.
Yeah, mid.
I'm up here if jump.
Two boat. Okay, there's gonna be 2 boat. One's on the tank. There's 3 tank.
I'm trying about.
They streak back.
Yeah, I'm just fucking trying to.
P1 right now, dead. Storm me, aggro. Holding the cross. He's holding the cross.
I have your make cut.
Listen, there's 2 mid cut, I think. There's 2 mid cut.
Anything.
Down.
One's boat. Oh, one shot.
Saying
Nice,
dead.
Brian.
I feel
One was out mid.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying.
don't
I'm
see
trying.
anything. He's not holding it. Yeah, I think we just face plant this right here.
Speak out. One shot. Fuck. He's gonna back up you on really weak. Aggro.
I'm waiting for you guys. I'm just waiting. I'll slide.
I'm just on
I'm holding top. I'm gonna hold top.
Close, dead. I'm on shot.
I'm holding top.
I'm naming
Aggro's spawn. Aggro's spawn somewhere. I think he's gonna snell or something.
Shot clips and tank. Tank and back left.
Stay down, stay down.
A moment for the Rangers in the setup yet again to P4. You're seeing them at a good chance at using that Hellstorm to keep them in this game number 1. Wichita State, they struggled to break this last time, Zep. They gotta dig deep to get it done here.
Yeah, gotta dig deep. This is a hard hill to climb. You gotta play it perfect from here on in. They have the opportunity to do so because, again, as you say, they've held this hill incredibly well before, but have to do so once again this time round. Exotic, though, round the back. Gonna try and pick up this kill. Camp does, and Cena reflanks him, and Rangers continuing to keep this one on lock, pushing out the Shockers here and narrowing this gap. They're gonna get this last 10. They're gonna have it to just above a 10-point game. The Shockers have rotated once again well to P5, but how well they hold this, they're just going to be hoping it's better than last time.
Last time it was a near instant break for the Rangers. Almost flipped that lead. This time that lead is even closer than it was before, but setup's even better for Wichita State. Deep back side for Kaiser. Just watching the cross of the approach in terms of mid-cut. Exotic's going to help out on a few of those kills, and it's a 2-for-1 trade, forcing the Rangers top green right into the deucer, keeping his team inside that hill, continuing to grow this lead yet again for Wichita State. And with those close spawns, it is just resupply after resupply in terms of these lives for a couple of the Wichita State members. They are just turning up in terms of that slaying. Won't last forever, though, as Rangers do find themselves in.
Yeah, look, the Rangers can keep this close, but the Shockers are doing enough with just these little bits of time here and there to potentially get themselves over the line. The Rangers, they have to have it perfect from here on in, and it looks like they are going to hold the last of this 10 seconds and be in a good position to rotate towards P1. I'm looking at Cheese at the moment, who is sat there. Will he be able to deal with Peach across, though? He is not. Aggro there, though, with the trade. So back and forth, super neck and neck as we go to the death. But once again, we're seeing a slay out and power on both sides of the map here from Shockers to collapse in this P1.
Okay, I mean, last time around for Wichita State, this P1 hold really was off the back of Peach's 6 spree. Can they do it again? Northwestern trying to fight through mid-cut. 3 go down. They're in. Only a 10-point game separating these two, and it's a good nade from Exotic to see if he can hold on to top blue around the staircase. Hipfire connects, and it's still Wichita State locking down these power positions, just not finding the kills across it. 3, making 4 go down. And now for the Rangers, not only that they can flip this lead, but they have the setup towards new potentially.
Oh my word, are they sneaking this map 1 here at the death? It's contested on that P1. The push, though, coming through the collapse from the Shockers here. They are going to be able to get that last 10, and they do have the opportunity to rotate towards this P2. It's all going to come down to this next wave or two of gunfights as Peach tries to get through with 1, has the help from Kaiser. And Shockers trying to do enough here, but a big 2 coming through from the Rangers back and forth. Maybe the Rangers that have control.
HA's big fight keeps the team inside the hill. 10 seconds separating. Again, Wichita just a small lead. Can they break in? They've been leading for so long. Northwestern, Oklahoma trying to steal away this map number 1, but they still won't get that hold that they're looking for. Wichita State break in, and it is a foot race to see if you can get back to contest in time. 3 seconds. Is anybody going to get there? The contest is in. The break's through, and it's enough for the Rangers to keep themselves in it. Now it's 6 seconds. A flip switched, and a chance for the Rangers to steal it away. 250 to 249, and WOSU kick us off.
What have we just seen? The Shockers looked like they had it in the bag, but the Rangers kept fighting back, kept keeping themselves in it, and then right at the death, when you think it's gone from them, when you think it's just out of reach, they come through with the wave of kills that secures them the point and secures them the map. It doesn't get any closer than that between two teams who have been perfect so far this season. It's the Rangers at the end who sneak it. I mean, look at that graph.
It was so close. And there were moments, too, where you thought this is where the Rangers were going to flip it around. And then, like, it was just never meant to be. Wichita State always held on to that lead. The last moment there, the P2 rotation. Again, Wichita State, they had the break, 3 players in. And, I mean, that just shows some incredible resilience against a team that is lower on the top 25 leaderboard, making a statement in terms of how much grit the Rangers truly had. They're here to tango, and for the Shockers, you're going to look back at that one and think, we should have had that. Leading the entire way up until that very last hill. 250, 249, and even looking across the stats, fairly even in terms of the slaying. Quite literally across the board. Moments at the end there from Nate and Cena where you have a couple triple kills sprawled together. And really that ignites some serious passion from the squad. 30 non-traded from Encina, 21 non-traded from Nate. I mean, Exotic's there with 22 non-traded, Deucer with 19. That is a barn burner to kick things off.
It actually is pretty crazy how close all those numbers are across the board. You pointed it out well. I mean, I'm looking at every single number here and I'm just like, God, I mean, as a 4 combined, it was neck and neck, right? We were seeing a team that was like massively outslaying, but the other team was rotating better or doing something different. We seen 2 top tier sides go head to head, have a very even battle, and at the end of the day, have it be 1 kill, 1 moment, 1 rotation, 1 bullet that decides it and decides which way it goes. I mean, literally as close as you can get. Again, it's just a testament to the levels that both of these sides are bringing to the CCL this season. But now it is going to be the Shockers who will be looking to answer back on a Colossus search and destroy. And I mean, look, I suppose the momentum, you may be feeling a little bit hurt after that one, but I suppose you'll take solace in the fact that that could have very easily been your game, unless you look at it from the perspective of which you pointed out quite clearly, and to be honest, I think you are correct in this, that the Shockers arguably should have had this one on lock earlier.
I mean, in terms of the way that they started off, yeah, it was great. You just had no answer for P4. You just gave up a little bit too much at P5 at times, even with that setup you had in the second set of rotations. Everything for the Shockers in terms of that game number 1 really stemmed off the success that you found in that P1, P2 rotation and a little bit of time that you would get off of P3, including that hellstorm that they invested in the P3 in that second set to just continue to snowball that lead. It's just when you didn't have those big tools and then that P1 doesn't go your way towards the end there, you lose that early rotation into P2. You don't get that setup from your ARs like Exotic inside the hill and Kaiser watching from top bridge in that hotel. You can see that the Rangers are not somebody that you just want to take lightly, a team that you just want to continue to put pressure on. As soon as you let them in, they don't leave. And WOSU, I mean, I don't want to sit there and say that that's not a winnable game because we just saw them take it away, Zap, into a major comeback and technically an upset to start off this best of 5. But, I mean, you look at it going into the second game, that is a major confidence boost heading into the search and destroy that, you know, for them, I'd love to see them ride that momentum.
Yeah, and they're a side that absolutely can ride the momentum because they've come into this series with momentum. So far being flawless, being able to continue that flawless streak, at least in the first map, against a side like the Shockers. I mean, that is no easy feat. So the momentum is there. If they can carry it through, of course, only time will tell. But I'm sure a side as experienced as the Shockers will find a way to answer back well. I would be very surprised if we see this series end after a map number 3. It is going to be a bit tit for tat, I feel, a bit blow for blow, but I'm curious to see how they fare out in these first few rounds of this search and destroy. As you said, will they carry the momentum through and sort of get those initial rounds, or are we going to see the Shocker side answer back quick, sort of put that momentum at a standstill, and then we see a straight back and forth once again?
Well, game number 2. So we load into Colossus for the search and destroy. We can see if Wichita can shake off that upset in map number 1. As they're going to be on the defense to start things off. Already a lot of map control coming out from the Rangers, and Encina has a play. The timing might go his way. He loses that onto aggro, but he's going to be behind this entirety. He gets the shots off. He's going to be actually caught there by Kaiser, and the aggression just does not stop from the Shockers. It's Nate in a 1v4. He manages to put one away, but that's all you're going to find in this round 1.
Wow, and you know, you talk about wanting to stop that momentum. A bit of a blink and you'll miss it round there from the Shockers as they just run through the map, rip Rangers to pieces, and put the first round on the board. Again, looking from the Shocker side, it's the perfect way to answer back. If they start chaining rounds like those, the Rangers will already find themselves in a lot of trouble.
Well, I wonder what the defense of Northwestern Oklahoma will have in store for us after just full-blown aggression from Wichita State in that first round. Their turn for the attack. It is Colossus, so you don't expect them to stop with that aggression, and already they got full statue control. Just pushing up. The Rangers seem like they want to give them that space. They don't want to lose that first blood battle.
And, you know, we've seen something similar to this on the previous series. We had Zips versus the Fuels. I mean, you had the Fuels who were very confident and aggressive at the angles they pushed, whereas there was a tentativeness from their opposition. And so far, we're seeing that sort of play out similarly here with the Shockers really benefiting from their aggression. But a nice answer back. That's not leaves a 3v3. But now the number's being whittled down.
Oh, yeah, that is an incredible read from Peach watching that flank. I thought Nate was going to have that for free, but even with that snipe to open up for that first blood, not able to retake over towards A, and it's aggression in terms of taking that space. You manage it, you play your life, and you just facilitate the communication from one to another. Allow Peach to have that freedom to hold on to bottom yellow, pick up that kill towards Nate, and continue to be an issue for anybody from the Rangers trying to pick up that P1 push. 3-0 start from Peach, pivotal in game 1 for that lead that Wichita has had for so long, and continuing to keep up that slaying momentum into game number 2 to see if you can bring this back for your team.
And watching as well that P1 push, I love this position here just to go for that information through the middle of the map. Peach, or actually, excuse me, I believe Exotic picking up that first blood there. Bit of a Cogcaster glitch coming through as the Rangers seemingly getting nowhere near the say. They kind of have the back half of the statue, but not looking confident in going anywhere with it, as this line that's being held from the Shockers is clean.
Bomb going down towards A. You thought that he would go for that stick. Still looking for a kill to see if he can even up those lives, but instead, another one for Peach. 4 in a row. Calls for the assistance too, and you're just making him look stupid out there. With a Chow out, the chase, and aggro nowhere close to that play. Bomb down inside blue. Aggro going to be able to find a second one. For the 1 versus 4, this is going to be so incredibly difficult considering the Shockers are already breathing down the back of your neck.
And going for this bomb and trying to get it down with the time left is not going to be easy. Now being chased as well. Actually has the shots for 1. Trying to go for the second for the ace. Doesn't quite happen. A little closer than it should have been. But you take out sort of that moment of brilliance and picking up the 3 there for the Rangers. The Shockers with another clean, clinical round on the overall at least. To where you're already struggling to see where Rangers might find some answers against the Shockers.
I mean, there's been no answers so far. And really, that play call, too, to take top P1. You chase Peach, try to go for that trade, and with aggro nowhere to be seen to follow up with that, I think that is just a call that you make in the heat of the moment that you look back and you're like, maybe you shouldn't force aggro into the 1v4, play back with your teammates. It could have been so different considering aggro did get that too, but for right now, you need kills and you need to play your life. Biggie Cheese forces the aggression outside of tunnel. Aggro is going to pick up yet another 2 kills, 6 and 3 in this game number 2. And this should be a moment where you finally get yourself on the board.
It looks like aggro may have actually found the answers here, picking up, as you say, another 2, and all of a sudden going from 0 to 100 in terms of at least their ability to get waves of kills here, Rangers. That has been the difference maker for them. It's just a case of how quickly will Shockers just adjust to that, you know, recognize the player who's pulling the numbers through and, you know, play a little bit more tentatively. I mean, as you say, going back to the round previous where I think maybe the Shockers took their foot off the gas pedal in terms of, you know, making sure to play it sensibly, chasing down individually in the 1 versus 4. If they start locking back in, will they find the answer to shut down aggro?
Something that you just need to do again and again. If you're Wichita State, that's not going to help you. You try to blow up the barrel early. Instead, you die to said barrel. Kaiser's going to have the sniper out. Is he able to turn it into 2? Hit marker onto the foot pistol, cleans it up, and there is your way back into this round. Still 2 versus 2, and the early damage onto aggro gives you the chance now into the 1v1. Peach versus Nate, and the timing couldn't have been any worse. Nate looking for 4 in a row. Peach looking for the 4th round for the Shockers. Neither team with the information on where they are. The timing for Peach doesn't know he's right below him. Nate has completely passed Peach. I don't know how that works out, but now you know Peach is behind you. 41 seconds to make this happen.
Yeah, sort of an exercise in COD timing here being shown off. Once so close, now split apart once again. Peach trying to angle towards this bomb. Does Nate know it's down? I believe he might. He's angling as if he does know. Oh, well, of course he'd know. He's the aggressor with the bomb. Silly Zep once again. As he rotates back now, it seems to be towards B to get this down. And again, the timings. They're not going to see each other, it looks like.
The timing, I mean, it's just been dreadful. This entire 1v1. Bomb going down over towards B, and Peach with that check over towards A should know. This is a potential. And again, you're on the outside looking into this play. The timing this time will work for you, and Peach stays vigilant the entire round. Playing your corners, playing your timings, looking for a mistake, and you find it right in front of you. A 4th round for Wichita. Another clutch for Peach.
I mean, that 1v1 was crazy. I mean, they must have went nearly a solid minute without seeing each other, just angling between both those sites. It was quite entertaining to watch, but as you say, you know, making sure just to lock it down. Deucer in the end up, I believe, actually picking up that kill, and again, crucial round for the Shocker side. You know, that's the difference between 4 to 1 and 3 to 2. It can be night and day in terms of momentum and confidence, as the Rangers struggling to find that momentum and confidence as a 4. Biggie Cheese yet to get a kill on the map, and Cena only picking up 1. The Shockers, however, as a 4, picking up more consistent kills.
I mean, the Rangers have already mounted 1 comeback today. You never want to take it out of the realm of possibility that they can do it again. First blood. Nate's going to follow up with a second one. Exotic looking to get aggressive, and it's a 2 versus 2. Nate still finding value with that sniper, and Exotic on 5 HP, just now looking to play your life. 2v1. It looked like for a second Nate was going to chase that. I'm not sure if he picked up a different gun other than the sniper, but Exotic has completely hightailed it away. The only issue is the bomb is in a really tough spot.
You've no choice in dealing with this other than picking up those kills and trying to get the 2 of them. As he spotted one, he has. Does he know the second's there? He now does. Rotating off, using the heady, but not able to pick up the kill. That was really close, though. Had the right play, just wasn't able to pick the shots.
Hey, that was nearly a top-tier vet call to play those 1v1s. You spot both members in your spawn. You use that natural cover to isolate the first 1v1, try to back up to the head glitch, but I just don't think you get that head glitch that you really wanted to against an M15. Really tough gunfight to take, and Biggie Cheese this time in the 1 versus 1, going big for NWOSU, keeping Wichita State away from that 5th round, bringing this back to a 2-round deficit. giving your team a chance. And that was his first kill of the game too. So big moment to start to find some values.
Now the Rangers look like they're going to try and go aggressive on A as well. Finally showing a little bit more aggression. They actually are going to push straight through with this bomb. Will it pay off? The trade's coming through. It is exotic with 2, and it doesn't quite work out. The Rangers in huge trouble with Nate, the last alive.
I don't like that play. I mean, I don't blame them for taking the space as fast as possible, trying to switch up the tempo for their squad. It is Colossus after all. You can really cut through the map quicker than what we see on normal maps in the rotation, but you've been losing a lot of those battles, and you've kind of been getting outslayed throughout the search and destroy. So if you don't see that initial fight back for Wichita State, you gotta know that they're gonna be posted up the way that they are. And I mean, it's a good read from Coach Exotic in that round. Just allow the Rangers to try to switch tempo. You catch them in the trap, and now you're on map point, looking to completely wipe your slate clean from what happened in map 1.
Oh, good first blood though for Biggie Cheese is going to make this round a little bit more difficult for the Shockers as they try to maneuver through. It looks like they're going to try and take this B site. Huge pick for Peach. Now make it a 3 versus 3. I mean, do they go straight for the plant? Do they go with the aggression? It's going to be Biggie Cheese that's going to try and stop this plant at the very least as the smoke does go out. And that's a huge kill.
It is a major one for a chance to put this game away. 3 versus 2. Bomb taking a little bit to go down. They are going to go for that plant. Both members of the Rangers grouping up towards bottom hall. I don't think Deucer did see him, but looks like with that dead nade, you know the information is there. And the Rangers do not need to jump the gun. You do have a flank from Encina.
Oh, that's huge, Mencina, but now 2 versus 1. Can Aggro go huge? It doesn't happen. And the Shockers taking a crucial round to make it 6-2, answering back with a map of their own and evening up this series at 1 apiece. It was a far more confident performance on the overall from Shockers, I feel, bar a few moments where Rangers looked dangerous. It was consistently in the Shockers territory, this one. They looked confident throughout. And, you know, after that map, I mean, that first round, we were like, right, they've answered back perfectly. Can they keep this up? It went back and forth, but they've answered back in the series now as good as you can.
Yeah, and, you know, behind somebody like Exotic at the helm as your coach, you're not going to go into a game 2 after losing that way that you did and not have composure. I think that that's something you can always trust in with the Shockers and the roster that they do have, is that they're going to be able to shrug off something that is a blunder like what happened on Scar almost immediately. You go into the search and destroy, they up the tempo those early couple rounds, you go up 3-0, and you knew that this was the Shockers' game to lose yet again. This time around, they don't falter as the game goes on. Encina doesn't have those pop-off plays that you do see back on that Scar hardpoint. Biggie Cheese, yes, gets that clutch 1 versus 1 in the 2v1 that Exotic almost put away. But the consistency wasn't there. Low damage between those two players struggling. Aggro tried his best, but most of the time was caught in 1vx scenarios. And Wichita State showing yet again that everybody on the roster is just doing their jobs, Zeb. Nobody's really falling behind. Even Deucer, who's sitting 4 and 6, 500 damage, had some major moments towards the end of that search and destroy. You had Peach clutching up, you had Exotic finding those kills, Kaiser with the sniper had some major rounds in those transitional moments towards the middle of that Colossus. This Shocker team, I mean, you saw why they got top 16 last year in those playoffs. Going into 2026, it doesn't seem like this team has really lost their mojo.
Absolutely not. And, you know, I'm wondering if it's going to become a theme of the night, because similarly to the last series, we're sort of seeing a narrative play out of, you know, in the value of the ability to play together as a 4 and of consistent numbers as a 4 versus relying on sort of moments of brilliance from teammates trying to carry you through, right? You know, as you say, Aggro for the Rangers having a few moments where it was 1 versus X and he was picking up a couple of those kills, not being able to get them over the line. You know, maybe in certain moments he may have been able to, you know, you turn it on its head. There was a few moments where maybe you flip the script, but on the overall, it's just not consistent enough for the Rangers to be happy with at this moment in time. And, you know, you can also argue from the point of aggro that the reason he was able to get so many of those kills is because he's the last alive, so he has the most amount of people to be able to shoot at and to be able to isolate. So, you know, whereas the Shockers, they're picking up consistent numbers well, and they're doing well against that 4-man, just being able to chase them down and gun them down and making sure to stay alive, other than a few mishaps here and there. And that consistency is just what's going to win you the majority of the games most of the time.
Yeah, well, for the Rangers, at least you're looking into this game number 3 and you're thinking, well, it could have been 0-2, but we're sitting 1-1. There's still a chance to keep our spirits high going into this overload, and I'm excited to see how they can switch things up going into this game 3, bring back what we saw at the end of that hard point, but we're going to have to wait a little bit to see it. We got a little bit of a break before jumping into this map 3, so we'll see you soon with some more College COD. Welcome back, everybody, to day 1 of week 2. I gotta get used to that yet again, Zep. That one's gonna trip me up for a while. As we continue to trek through this season, though, we got Wichita State and NWOSU Rangers, the number 9 in the top 25, taking on the number 13 in Northwestern Oklahoma State. And so far, it has been quite the wild ride, especially when we look towards the maps. From what we've seen through map 1 and map number 2, there's a very big chance that this could have been a 2-0 for the Wichita State Shockers, but with Northwestern turning up in that game 1, they're giving themselves a chance in this series, and going into this overload, they're going to have to harness some of that power again.
Absolutely. Look, I think for this Rangers side, it's already been made very clear that they're going to have to fight tooth and nail for every ounce of scrap of this series as they possibly can. They were able to do so on map 1. They faltered a bit on map 2 as the Shockers started to gain in confidence, but both sides having to regain, you feel, here going into an overload, right? The Shockers can't get too confident because we've seen what the Rangers can do on a respawn mode against them and keeping it close. But on the Rangers side of things, they can't feel like they've lost a little bit of that momentum that they got in that map 1. Yes, the search and destroy didn't go the way they would have wanted to, but they have this map to, and potentially, you know, all the way towards the end. Obviously, they'd like to win the next 2, but they have time, they have opportunities to regain, especially going on to eventually a map 4 where it'll end up getting so mixy. I mean, if they're feeling their shot, like a map 4 could really be anybody's game. If they can keep the composure and then overload and make sure not to get, you know, relayed on, make sure not to get penned too far back and spawn, keep themselves in it, again, win a tight game, then you definitely can see a way for them to come through in this series. But you feel like for the Shockers, if they hit momentum, they are so difficult to stop.
That's why I'm kind of looking at this as a must-win map for NWOSU. You go into the Blackheart map 4, and after what I saw in Colossus in terms of the tempo, the slang, the ways that they were able to shut down Encina, I would definitely put that map 4 in the wheelhouse of a Wichita State power pick. Raid, search, and destroy. Obviously, with that search and destroy we just saw, I definitely give the advantage back over to Wichita State, but it just feels like a situation of confidence now for NWOSU. And in Den Overload, they not only need to bounce back, but they need to give themselves a chance to bounce back here and have momentum going into that map 4 if they want to take down the Shockers. Because if not, and they let this continue to spiral out of control, I don't know many teams, especially in the CCL, out of the top 5 that have the mental capabilities and the kind of clutch plays to continue to make magic happen like what we saw in that map 1.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, they need to find a way ultimately to shut down the Shockers. They can't keep pulling these magic massive moments sort of out the back end to try and steal maps. You know, they got to come through, and they got to come through with a little bit of confidence, right? They got to come through and look arguably like the better team, because you can look at that scoreline all you want and again applaud Rangers for keeping that map 1 close. I think it's fair to say, for the most part, we agree on that they weren't the better team in that map 1, and they certainly weren't the better team in that map 2. They've afforded themselves the opportunity to take this one to, at the very least, a map 4 and give themselves a chance in this series. But they got to take at least one of these maps if they win it, take them in such a way where, again, if it's another hard point, it's 30, 40 points. If it's an overload, it's, you know, either they win by 1 or they win by 2 and it looks confident. You know, they can't afford to be sneaking them all the time, as you say. They need to establish an air of dominance to where they actually look like they're putting Shockers on that back foot.
And it's an interesting conversation for Overload, because you think about what is a confident win on Overload. I mean, for Den, realistically, 1-2 points, that's not a bad win. I mean, that is still a very respectable win that you'd be feeling good of. And, you know, given the situation, if you're struggling, you're on the back foot for the entire second half and barely scrape away with it, yeah, that's not a confident win whatsoever. But you know, if you come out, you're kind of handling your slaying, you're picking up those routes, and you're managing to set up good offensive attempts just consistently across this, and you walk away with a win, I still feel like no matter what the score is, you're going to feel good in terms of that momentum going into game number 4. But I think for NWOSU, no matter which way you spin it, this is a map that you are looking to steal away from the Shockers if you want to find a third win on your CCL Week 2 leaderboard. So you come out early on the better side if you're the Rangers. And already you're dealing with a flank from Exotic. He's behind. He's got the stub in hand. And it's Peach in the kill feed, but it's 3 down for the Rangers. And you need Encina to go big, which, to be honest, he does that.
Yeah, again, just being a player to try and clutch it up for Rangers, making sure that it's not going too bad too early. But, you know, again, you talk about what is a good win, right? And I think so much of it will come down as well to map control, right? And having Exotic go on flanks like that, completely open up the mid to then allow that EMP to come out and move through to a site of their choosing, is that map dominance that puts Rangers in the danger zone. And already in the danger zone here as this EMP edges its way towards B. The slide on through not quite working, but Kaiser picking up the 2. Surely going to get that EMP, going to get the first overload through. Not even 1 minute gone, and they're already 1-0 up with arguably complete map control, dominating this lane. And I think that's the real difference maker. Even if it still only ends up being 1-0, if they're keeping the lane locked and they're confident in these gunfights, that's a solid win.
Did they change up where the second overload spawns on Den?
I think they might have.
Interesting.
Just a little bit.
Almost a rally for Wichita State, but a counterattack is being formed from the Rangers inside Dojo. Nice trade from Biggie Cheese. Exotic looking to do some damage to the setup, and with the help of his teammate. I thought for a second they were going to be able to go 1-for-1, but Aggro holding his zone. Hopefully this doesn't reset, but you still have a good stance here if you're in NWOSU.
Yeah, this is a great position to be in, but in saying that, now the flood comes on through. Biggie Cheese, though, managing to get the trade, still keeping this push on, but the collapse coming in. It'll be Deucer, doesn't even need to pick up the kill in the end up. It's Exotic that grabs it, grabs the EMP, and starts moving on forward. It is a back and forth battle on this left lane here, as now the Shockers trying to get a second cap on that B. They actually might be through here if they can rush it. Kaiser hopping on by. It's 2-0. And God, when they go forward, Shockers, they look very dangerous.
You know, when I said that, you know, having a 1-point win or a 2-point win is still confident, this is superseding that, Zep, completely. I mean, Wichita State with a fantastic shutdown over towards Dojo. They continue to fight 3 down over and over again, and that's really what stems this 2-0 lead that they have with still 2 minutes and 30 seconds in this first half of Den Overload. I mean, NWOSU just have no answer in terms of these flanks. Nobody watching these outside routes that Wichita State continue to throw at them. And you always feel like it's down to one player to really clutch up again and again. This time, Aggro not able to make that happen. Biggie Cheese and Nate also go down. Fortunately enough, Wichita State are only now picking up that overload device, and Cena still has a chance to shut this one down, and it looks like he's going to do just that.
Wow, I mean, great from Encina, but we have seen pretty consistently now the Rangers having to rely on 2 pieces to keep some sort of air of composition about their hold. I mean, how many times have we seen 3 down and it's either Aggro or Encina with the 2 to keep the clutch, and even then it's only just stemming the bleeding. Like, it is slowing it down, but it is certainly not stopping it. I mean, the Shockers, they probably would have had 4 already by now if you didn't have those last-ditch attempts from the Rangers. They are not drawing anything together here that looks like a bit of map presence or control. But with Nate pushed up, I was actually about to say he's in a good position, but quickly they're getting pinched on, and now this will be a counter-attack down that lane.
I just no lead blockers there. Again, a situation where Encina has to go big. That double kill will slow down a chance for a 3rd capture, but I mean, right now, if you're the Rangers, you need to start getting offensive attempts. It's not good enough to just have almost, but Biggie Cheese steals it, and he sneaks one in, so almost sometimes counts. You think about hand grenades, and right there is your hand grenade if you're the Rangers, blows up in the face of Wichita State, and you knock that lead down to 1.
that was really bizarre because the Shockers had that lane largely unguarded for quite a while, right? Even Encina, when he was alive, it was either Encina or Aggro the last time around. Once he got the kill through, he decided to turn mid and get dropped when he actually had a free run towards A. Of course, we have the luxury of the mini map, but Rangers were afforded more than one opportunity there. Luckily for them, they did take it, but are the Shockers now about to answer back?
Exiting this half with just a 1-point difference. After the way this started, that is a huge plus if you're the Rangers, so you're looking to shut this one down. Deucer, however, through the middle of the map in your spawn, trying to break through for the team, not able to make it happen. Another double kill at the goal line for Encina. 6 seconds left. Chance maybe to get an extra 30 seconds. They're going to make that full rotation back over towards B, and nobody is here to block it off. Everybody's taking the long route for the flank. It is wide open for the run. Does Kaiser get it? He does.
Huge.
He just barely gets that kill. That could have been a wide open goal to tie it up, but instead, Wichita stayed with only a 1-point lead.
Wow, I mean, that was a very, very important kill to get again straight away, recognizing the clock was down, they were in the overtime, and just taking out the EMP carrier, not worrying about the rest that was around him, knowing that if he just got that player down, that the round was done. But again, the Rangers have shown that they can cause the damage. Again, they are not the better team so far in this overload. Of course, they have time to change that, but they've proven they can do damage in moments. Can they rely on those moments enough to get themselves through? It's going to be tough against the Shockers. One thing is for certain, that they cannot let them get any more overloads on them. The Rangers, if they're going to take this one, it's already looking like it's going to be a 3-2 scenario.
Oh. Let's see if Encina can pick up round number 2, the way that Exotic started off. Good heads-up play from Kaiser to pick up the flank. And fortunately enough for Rangers, unlike the start of round number 1, a lot of back and forth in terms of that kill feed. Finally, Wichita State do get that break. They're trying to work through the middle of the map, but off the respawn, it's Encina again running a route through mid. Nice nade from Kaiser. Nate should slow this one down. Brilliant double kill. But somebody's made it through. It's Biggie Chase to pick up that kill into Kaiser, and another stop from the Rangers.
And Rangers are on the back foot, trying to claw their way back into this series. Let's see how they're doing so, as we'll take a quick listen into the comms.
Are you?
Kaiser on me
One's
left.
hitting through inner. One's hitting
Kaiser
through
one
inner right.
bullet mid cut. Kaiser
On you,
bullet,
pitching you. Dead.
My cut.
2-2-2. Peach red. Peach red.
One my cut, Kaiser.
Kaiser, last one.
What's my cut?
Kaiser,
Still my
dead.
cut.
Dead.
Good job. Everybody else in front of us.
Nading
Three,
short.
three.
Nading short.
Nation two.
Stun short. Stun short.
Needed one. Yeah, deep.
NB.
He crossed left already.
NB
Laying down.
bullet.
Exotic.
2 in B, 3 in B.
Three.
Exotic's on the left.
One here.
Weak.
Or
Kaiser.
2 more max.
Kaiser. Two
We're on it.
tower. Three.
On ball dead. One more on the heady.
Peach and Kaiser there. They're sliding. They're running through. The left ball for the old people.
Outer.
Outer weak.
He's in our vines. Pushing our server. Server to statue.
He's getting pinched.
Kaiser gonna pinch.
On B point. He's in the close right. In the close right, Kaiser. In the close right. Kaiser corner B. Are you wrapping your B?
One shot, Kaiser.
Deucer and then lobby.
There's
Exotic.
3, yeah. There's 3 out.
Don't even cut for the ball, bro.
2 lobby. Deucer there as well.
I don't want
All dead.
3. Guys, keep going.
Mid cut. Last one.
No,
Last one mid cut. Oh. Chowing mid. He chowed mid.
Mid, weak.
Pinch our red.
He's dead. On the heady.
Two front heady.
In server
naded.
dead. He's on their inner heady.
Another one on the heady.
Stun my cut.
Make
My
cut.
cut.
2 on the heady.
Heady.
One across outer.
Y'all chill.
Heady weak.
I'm one shot.
That one's outer. Outer dead. On the heady.
Nice.
On the heady.
Wait. We have a pinch.
Deep. Last one deep.
Last one. On
On the heady.
heady. Weak.
He's one shot. Bro, he's not fucking deep. What?
Oh my god, he's one shot in lockers.
Yeah,
Cover.
top broken.
Up broken. One shot.
On me dead. One close heady.
Still there.
And it seems to be with this Ranger side, there is an air of frustration in those comms, desperation almost, as they can sense that this series and this map at the very least might be slipping away from them. They still have opportunities. They're still going to try and take one over towards SA, a massive 1v1. That doesn't go their way. So close yet so far. Could be the way that they end up summing up this series.
The comms are calm. The issue is that's not what's going to bring you across this finish line in map number 3. You need to see a little bit more in terms of that consistency of the slaying. And Cena, another big moment. You're trying to get that goal with the stun. It's not enough to stop it. With a minute 22, there's your chance back into it, Zep. You are not out of waters just yet. We saw how that map 1 went.
Yeah, the Rangers have shown that they can pull it off on the back half. Trying to do so here once again as they try to force their way through A. And Cena has been going huge on these last few waves of kills. Nate picking up one, trying to slide through, can't quite get it. Aggro going to try and get it. He can't do it. It's stopped at the goal line by Kaiser. Still trying to force it out towards this B. Do they realize they're going to run right back into trouble? Only 50 seconds left. I mean, arguably you just wrap it into your spawn, try and go around B, run this clock down.
And right now, you can park the bus. It's stand at the end of the day. But it doesn't seem like that's what Wichita State want to do. They have a little bit of confidence that they can find themselves a dagger over towards A, even if it's going to be a risk. Surrounded, however, this is a chance to maybe blow up. 3 go down. Peach is going to be trapped. Doesn't look like you're going to get there in time. And a major kill with the pistol. Peach is re-wrapped over to the rest of the team up the spawn. 16 seconds. The bus is parked in the back. You had the confidence for the dagger, but instead you need to go for the safe play. You find it, 7 seconds, and Cena the closest to make the play. Here come the kills. They don't make it through. The pistol kill puts it in the history books for map number 3 to go to Wichita State with a good old bus park in the back of Den.
And ultimately reaping the rewards of doing enough here. The Shockers getting over the line. I said it going into the second half. I feel like if they got that third overload, that would be enough for them. And it ended up being the case. Encina going absolutely huge here in this P2 area, which is what afforded the Rangers the opportunity to get through for their second overload, but wasn't able to do so more than that. Close, but not close enough. Putting up one hell of a fight, but again coming away from a map where you would argue it looked like the second best team, even if it wasn't by much. But the Shockers still able to get the job done.
I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about at the start of map 3, Zep. Is when you get done, you want to have confidence in a chance at that Blackheart map number 4. I was worried that for a second, NWOSU would maybe show up and need this to be a must-win map. With how shaky that was from the Shockers towards the end of that map number 3, forced into parking the bus, a couple big moments from the device carrier Peach at the end of that game, and you kind of save yourself by barely scraping into parking the bus in the back of your spawn. And NWOSU almost had another chance to steal that one away, to clutch up at the very moment. 33 and 25 from Encina. Oh, and you'd say that, you know, not one player can just continue to have those clutch moments over and over again. They almost prove us wrong. This is much closer than I think a lot of people would have thought in terms of the top 25 standings that we see them sitting.
Absolutely. You have to commend Rangers really for, you know, putting their best efforts at it and nearly getting their side over the line, as you say, Encina being a huge player. But again, I'll always go back to that consistency being enough in the end up as a 4. And if even Encina had anyone pulling half the numbers that he was pulling on his side, then maybe they would have been able to get over the line, but it just wasn't to be. And, you know, now going on to a Blackheart hardpoint where it's a map that I feel like primarily relies on the slaying power, I think we will see moments from players like Encina to be able to pull it back, but unless you're picking up those kills in crucial, vital areas, the Shockers' consistency as a 4, I think, is going to be more than enough to outslay and out-dominate the opposition. And I don't know, as much as I want to give credit for how well Rangers have played from the back foot in this series, I feel like we have a 3-1 scoreline coming up.
Well, going into this Blackheart again, I mean, you look at NWOSU to see what they have in the tank, the back half of this best of 5. We're going to waste no time at all in kickstarting the second hard point of this series. Blackheart, and this is something that for a lot of people, you watch this and it is an absolute mix fest. Constant engagements, constant rotations. You look through P3, P4, literally 2 hard points that you can see from one side to the other. So you expect this one to go down to the wire, be as close as it can be. After what Scar provided for us, it's going to be entertaining.
Well, the Shockers already off to a fantastic start, getting a clean 4 down. The Rangers trying to get themselves broken through. Nate eventually getting 1 on the board as they try to even make their way out of spawn towards this point, and Cena with another. Now we'll be able to collapse on in. A nice initial 20 for the Shockers as they try to hold on. Aggro being the difference maker here alongside Nate, meaning that the Rangers can get some points on the board themselves, but you do have Kaiser guarding those all-important P2 spawns. I mean, it's hard to say if there's a money hill on this map per se, but if there is any, P2 is certainly one of them.
You have the rotation right now. If you're Wichita, I was going to say for a second, Cena had a chance to do the funniest thing ever, which we've seen him do again and again. But out of the gates, Wichita State following up off of their success from maps 2 and 3, continuing to keep this composure and confidence in their plays. Exotic not going to reach out mid, instead just joins the rest of the team back in P2.
And this rotation is going to have to be clean across from Rangers, and it's so far, yeah, it's not been great here for Rangers. Exotic going to cut on in as well to help his teammate. Teammate doesn't even need the help. This hold very clean from Shockers, already on their way to a 50-point lead.
And Zep, this is what I was scared about when I was talking about after you watched the Colossus. There was a massive difference in terms of the confidence in tempo. I mean, when you play a smaller map like Colossus or Blackheart, you know you're going to be taking these fast engagements. And for some teams, you're going to jump the gun in a lot of those engagements. For Wichita State, they didn't do that in the Colossus. They dominated it in terms of the slaying. For a respawn like Blackheart, it's really easy to let a game like this get out of hand and really get confusing. But when you got some major veterans on your side, you trust that the Shockers are going to have some level heads here.
Absolutely, and I mean, look, the Rangers, they are getting some scrap 10 and 15s, but it is nothing compared to the clean holds of 30s and 40s that the Shockers are getting. And I mean, looking at how this series played out, if you were to ask me what's the #1 map mode combination that the Rangers would least like to see, given how this one's played out, it was going to be this one. And to be honest, I think we're seeing very much why here. They've gotten their first clean breakthrough, though. This has been good by them. They just need to try and hold it down for majority time to prove that they've got a bit of fight in them left in this map for this series. Aggro currently 3 and 5, not starting out very hot, but we know he can have some clutch moments. They decided to be relying on him and Encina to try and pull this one out the bag.
Well, the good thing for NWOSU is that you started off slow in map #1. You slowly dragged yourself back into that Scar hardpoint. And again, you're going to have to do the same thing here on the Blackheart, a slow start. But you saw a moment where they were able to break from the front, get a little bit of time on P3, and they have the rotation to P4. But what they don't know is Kaiser is behind them. And he's going to have the chance to really disrupt this setup. Immediately finds a kill. Everybody turns around. He allows his teammates to come in suit, and they just collapse together, break through the front, snap those spawns, and take the hill.
A lesson in taking the hill, ladies and gentlemen. Kaiser being a nuisance in the back, then being able to help his teammates and picking up the ones that are weak and trying to rotate out to safety in their spawn. Little do they know they're rotating into the trap that Kaiser has set, and then ultimately the trades there off the back of Kaiser to get a clean push through the back. It is exactly how you want to do it. Kaiser sitting 16 and 7, by the way. What a start from him.
What a start indeed. I mean, Kaiser's been great. I mean, not just here, but in the entirety of CCL for his career. Big part in that top 16 last year alongside Exotic, and a big part for this series and why it is looking the way that it is. So over to P5 we go. Major lead, 100-point difference now for Wichita State, just completely blowing this out of proportion. You have an early setup, but you lose those spawns immediately. Wichita State play for the backside of the map. They take every gunfight, they win them. And you even have mid-map control through Deucer as well, cutting you off from behind, making it really difficult for you to get these setups, but not impossible to get these setups, and NWOSU battle their way back.
Yeah, I mean, pretty decent hold. Big Cheese had gone big on the point, but getting dropped. And again, when you look at these KD disparities now across the board, you have 14, 12, 10, and 19 versus 9, 8, 9, and 11. And I mean, on a map that relies so much on your slaying power, that is a reason why there is a 100-point difference, or just under that now, between these two sides. Rangers pulling it back just a little, but it can't be just a little at this stage. It needs to be a complete role reversal if they want any chance of taking this to a map 5.
It has to start here in the second set of hills. I mean, a good couple of kills for this rotation. You're going to have a setup early, but it hasn't been the first time that Wichita State have been playing from the back foot and managed to break it. But quite like we saw in that first map, you go into the second set of hills, and this is where Aggro and Cena really started to take over. If Biggie Chase and Nate can give some serviceable efforts in the slaying column, this is still in chance territory. So just under a 100-point lead. Wichita State will mount the break back into P1 for 40 seconds. They also flip those spawns. We can see what the Rangers can do in the hot seat.
Yeah, Rangers desperately trying to get themselves rotated around. 3 dead though, and I mean, that is a clean hold once again from the Shockers. They deal with the pushes from Rangers so well, right? When Rangers are trying to deal with the Shockers on a push, it gets scrappy. It's a checkerboard or kill feed. They can sometimes trade it out, most likely not. When the Shockers have a clean hold, or when they're set up as well as a 4, they usually deal with at least that first wave, that first push. They usually get a clean 3 or 4 down, and then maybe the second time around they're broken. But the extra time that's giving them is really putting Rangers in the ground right now.
You had a moment there for the Rangers, but it really just seems like you're not able to hold your own in terms of that slaying column that Wichita State continue to rack up on this black card. 23 and 14, 22 and 14. Exotic and Kaiser having themselves yet another bang out in the respawns. It's a good setup on the crossfire. Damage is there. Not able to get those kills. Deucer on the inside of the hill finds 2. Exotic for the contest. Just looking to hold on for a couple more seconds. Finds 1. Not able to transition to the second one. You lose those spawns. You lose a little bit of time here. It's not the end of the world, but you still have a chance to make one more dash for P2. That's what you're going to do. Kaiser wins his fight. You get the break for scrap time, and you continue to dominate this lead.
It's just not enough from Rangers. On a break like that, they need to hold the rest of that time. They have no other choice. But when they fight so hard for one of their few successful breaks just to get rebroken after no more than, what, like 15 seconds, it just means it's not going to be your day. And you have players that are just popping off. Exotic 26 and 16, Kaiser 24 and 16, and then, of course, Deucer doing the job in the point. Positive with 2 minutes 13 in hill. I mean, what more could you ask for from your side as you look to close out the day for yourself with a victory? Rangers at the very least trying to make sure they're not 100-point clubbed, but it looks like that's about all they're going to be able to fight for in this series now.
No 100-point club. And NWOSU 14 seconds away from losing this best of 5, and Wichita State have found themselves the break. They're spawning up on the opposite end. I don't even know if there's time to get here. Everybody is racing, but you gotta go fast, and there's no time to pause. As soon as you do, it is out of the wheelhouse for a chance. Wichita State may stumble in map 1, but across the rest of the series, they rise to the occasion in week number 2, and they are gonna continue to stay flawless in the Great Plains.
Massive congratulations to the Shockers and commiserations to Rangers, who look, I think it's fair to say throughout this entire series, comfortably look like the underdogs, but put up one hell of a fight and showed their moments. But the consistency of Shockers reigned through, and the damage that they could do on a map mode combination like Blackheart, where they felt confident, was really there to be seen. The gap just continued to get wider and wider as the last chances seeped away for Rangers to be able to get anything out of this series. They fought great in map 1. They had moments in near map 2 and 3, but I think that going into Blackout Hardpoint, they had virtually no chance.
I mean, we saw this coming after seeing that map number 2 and the way it went. Just confidence in terms of those fast-paced chows, the tempo that you can set is a step above Northwestern Oklahoma State today. 3-1 victory. You look across that last scoreboard, and Ken, it was the Kaiser, the Exotic show. I'm not going to take away from Peach or Deucer at all. They played an incredible series consistently across all 4 maps. You even think about Peach top fragging back in that map number 1, having all those clutches in map 2 as well. as making those big plays to park the bus back in map number 3 on top of just taking another win for your squad. It's a great day to be a shocker. And for the Rangers, I mean, you just got to congratulate them for what they're able to do on that map number 1, continue to battle their way through that den overload. I think when you're looking at your future in terms of map pools, Blackheart's not something you look comfortable on at all. Colossus Search and Destroy is going to need a little bit of touch-up as well, Zap. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board to figure out how you want those map vetoes to go in your future matches. For tonight, I think you just got to be impressed by the resilience that they showed.
Yeah, I mean, impressed, I think, is the #1 word to use. And look, Blackheart Hardpoint, I think you're dead right. That is not a map mode combination they want to take in against these top sides. But in saying that, I think if Rangers found themselves with the shoe on the other foot, where they're the top dog facing up against a team who isn't fully confident, a team that might be a bit jittery themselves in the Search and Destroy, they can do a good job on a Colossus Search and Destroy. They could do a good job on a Blackheart Hardpoint, probably slay out themselves. But I think, again, the consistency as a 4 isn't there enough against these top sides that, you know, you're really having to try and prove yourself against. It's not there as of yet, so you definitely want to fall back in some other map modes and see how they work. But I think the Rangers, they are a side that I think will do quite well this season. You look at the standard we've seen set in the CCL, they are certainly a side that, if nothing else, can make life really difficult for any opposition that they go up against. So I'm certain we'll see them be confident in other performances throughout the CCL.
I'm sure we're going to be seeing some confidence form this team in the future. Number 13 in the top 25, and it is only week number 2. Lots of growth to be had across 2026 for every single team that we've seen so far in College COD. It's been a great start to the year, and it's still only the beginning. Still so much to look forward to in Black Ops 7. But that's going to be it for our match number 2. Match 3 coming up over the horizon. It's going to be the Hoosiers taking on the Boilermakers. Indiana versus Purdue. You definitely don't want to miss that one to close out day number 1 of week number 2. We'll see you soon.